Yesterday was a huge day for Bitcoin, hitting a new all-time high over $118,000, 0 cents. But honestly, if you're an XRP holder, today might feel even more exciting. XRP is absolutely showing signs of life and incredible strength, especially compared to other top coins. On some exchanges, XRP hit a high of $2.97 today. Remember not too long ago when it was sitting around $1.93 and so many people were feeling down about it? Well, not everyone, definitely not me, but you know. Now we've pulled back a bit since then, which is totally normal. That $2.97 mark is a big resistance level and plenty of people were ready to sell there. So it's no surprise we bounced off that level on the first try. Nothing weird or bad about it. It's just how these things work. As of right now, XRP is sitting at $2.79. And honestly, that still feels like magic to me. What a time to be an XRP holder. I've been holding XRP since 2017. And honestly, for most of that time, it's been sitting around $0.20, $0.30, maybe $0.40 or $0.50. That's pretty much been the norm. So seeing it now consistently above $2 and then jumping up to $2.80, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. What's even more exciting is realizing that we're in the final stage of this bull run. I think most of us can agree on that at this point, right? Of course, it doesn't mean it'll end today, tomorrow, or even in the next few weeks, but this is it. The stage where life-changing wealth can actually happen. It's the moment we're in right now, and it's pretty incredible to be a part of it. XRP might be gearing up for one final big pump to close out this cycle, at least if history decides to repeat itself. And honestly, I'm betting that it will. I've been diving into insights from so many XRP chart analysts. Seriously, I've lost count. Just take a look at my browser right now. The number of tabs I've got open is insane. It's basically an XRP deep dive over here. Am I going to get through all of them? Probably not, but hey, I'm trying. Now, before we go any further, let me be super clear. I'm not a financial expert, and this isn't financial advice. Please don't make any decisions to buy or sell based on what I say or write. Always do your own research. As I'm recording this, it's Friday, July 11th, 2025, and wow, what a day for XRP. Right now, it's sitting at $2.80, and Bitcoin has soared to an incredible $117,677. Let's take a look at this beautiful 24-hour chart for XRP. According to Live Coin Watch, XRP actually hit a 24-hour high of $2.93. They use their own unique method to pull data from multiple exchanges and calculate what they consider the price. It might not be a literal average, but it's pretty accurate. Of course, prices can vary depending on the exchange. And as some analysts point out, we'll dive into this later in the video, XRP actually reached $2.97 on certain platforms. That's a pretty significant level. Oh, and don't forget $2.60 was another key level. It fought hard to break past that one. Exciting times for XRP holders. And wow, once it broke through that level, it just took off. It was so exciting to watch. I'm just like, all of you, I don't even need to ask. I know you've all been glued to your phones, constantly checking the price of XRP. And honestly, that's exactly what you should be doing. Enjoy these moments. You've earned it. After everything you've been through, especially over the last few years, you deserve to soak this in. So yeah, check the price obsessively, celebrate the wins, and have fun with it. When you've got skin in the game, it's exciting to watch things unfold. I've been doing the same thing all day. Take a moment to enjoy this. You've more than earned it. To check out this post from the Wolf of All Streets, Scott Melker, he shared a Bitcoin dominance percentage chart pointing out that Bitcoin dominance is dropping fast. What does that mean? Altcoins are starting to outperform Bitcoin during this move. This is something I've been talking about for a while now. It's super important to keep an eye on. Historically, every time we've seen this happen near the end of a cycle, it's marked the start of alt season. So as Bitcoin dominance decreases, even if Bitcoin's price is climbing, altcoins begin to take off. Altcoin dominance is on the rise. Visually, it looks like Bitcoin dominance is taking a nosedive, right? But percentage-wise, it's not as dramatic as it seems. Before this recent drop, Bitcoin's market dominance was sitting at around 65.5%. As of this morning, it's down to 64.32%. So it's just a little over a 1% dip. Definitely not a massive crash, even though it might look that way on the chart. Now, if this trend keeps going, it could be a big indicator that alt season is kicking off. And honestly, it's pretty exciting to see this happening. For weeks, analysts have been saying Bitcoin dominance was starting to look shaky. They warned the market structure was weakening. And now it seems like things are finally tipping over. If this really is the start of alt season, it's time to get pumped. Maybe even practice your happy dance in the mirror. Just make sure it's on point so you don't look totally goofy. Here's a post from Crypto Michael that pretty much nails it. Dips will get bought up fast. You're about to witness vertical accumulation. And you know what? He's right. Now, just to set expectations, we're not going to see a perfectly straight line up, but we will see some amazing impulsive moves, just like the one we saw today with XRP. That was pure strength. You can't fake a move like that. XRP nearly hit $3 today. That actually happened. So here's the deal. In a market like this, those dips are going to get scooped up quickly. We'll keep an eye out for the top signals together. I'll be streaming on this channel to call them out when they pop up. Because once they're everywhere, and trust me, they will be, I'll be streaming it nonstop, but we're not there just yet. Right now, it's a moment to feel excited. People are jumping in and buying these dips, expecting things to climb higher. And honestly, they're probably right for a while, but eventually they'll be wrong. At some point, there will be a final dip where people buy in only to realize, oops, that was actually the top. That's why it's important to stay cautious. But the good news, we're not at that point yet. We've still got alt season ahead of us. It always happens. Here's an update from chart analyst Rect Capital. He's saying Bitcoin's bull market progress is 90% complete and things are about to accelerate with parabolic advances. I actually remember seeing his updates a couple years ago, or however long ago it was. Back then, the progress was at 30%, and he's been updating this little bar chart over time. Now, in his estimation, we're nearly at the end of this cycle. And honestly, I think he's spot on. Looking at past trends, it makes total sense that we're nearing the final stretch. Plus, we don't have to wonder anymore if we're in for a boring summer in crypto. That question has already been answered. Bitcoin's big impulsive move already happened, and historically, that's the norm around this stage. As I've mentioned before, this pattern happens like clockwork every market cycle. The fourth year of the cycle, which we're in now, tends to bring some exciting price action during the summer. And that's something we don't typically see in other years of the cycle. And what's interesting is how predictable this behavior is. People are reacting just like they have in every previous cycle, sticking to the same pattern without much deviation. It's fascinating to watch. That said, this doesn't mean the market has to peak this summer. Could it go higher over the next few months? Absolutely. But there's also a good chance the peak could stretch into the fall. I'm not trying to lock in any specific timeline here, just pointing out that historically, this wouldn't be unusual. Either way, we're definitely nearing the end of this cycle. Julian Biddle from Global Macro Investor, who works with Raul Paul, just posted something super interesting. He's a super data-driven guy, and whenever he shares something, I make sure to stop and read it. This time he shared an Ethereum chart that doesn't just hint at a bullish setup, it's practically shouting, pay attention. He's showing ETH tracing back to the last cycle and looking ready to break out. In my opinion, it's almost inevitable at this point. And whether or not you hold ETH, this is good news. Historically, Ethereum breakouts have kicked off altcoin season. Get ready, folks, it's coming. I know earlier this year when ETH dropped to around $1,400, some people were quick to declare Ethereum dead. But let's be real, price alone doesn't mean something's dead. That's just not how it works, especially when the fundamentals haven't changed. So let's keep our eyes on the bigger picture here. If the fundamentals of an asset haven't changed, but its price drops, that's usually a clear sign the market just isn't valuing it properly. It's pretty straightforward. Take XRP, for example. Last year, the same thing happened. I kept saying throughout 2024 that XRP was undervalued, and I was right. When XRP drops too low compared to Bitcoin, it's often a sign it's about to take off. The same goes for ETH. These moments are exciting because when one like XRP starts to rally, you can expect other assets to follow. Keep an eye on these patterns. They tell you when the market might be gearing up for something big. Here's a quick update from Chart Mustache on the Bitcoin USD chart. Hang tight with me. I've got tons of XRP updates to share, but I want to cover things in a specific order because these are key points every XRP holder should know. Trust me, you'll want to be excited about this because these factors need to be in place for XRP to really take off. That's why I'm diving into them first. Now, let's talk Bitcoin. Take a look at this inverse head and shoulders pattern. It was super clear, right? This pattern is pointing to a target of $145,000 to $150,000 for Bitcoin. You can see exactly what I mean in the chart here. If we get up into that range, I can't help but wonder, how does XRP not hit at least double digits? Seriously, it just seems inevitable. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not making a price prediction here. That's not my thing. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know exactly where the price is headed, but directionally, I feel confident we're moving higher. And if that happens, I just can't see how XRP stays under $10 cycle. Think about it. If that much money flows in, how could it not? What's it going to do instead? That's why when I hear people predicting only a small bump, like a twofold increase from the previous all-time high, I'm like, okay, if that's how it plays out, I'll give you credit. If we get into that range, I can't help but wonder, how does XRP not hit at least double digits? Seriously, I'm not making a price prediction here. That's not my thing, but I really believe the overall direction is upward if things play out the way they could. I just don't see how XRP stays below $10 this cycle. It doesn't make sense when that much money flows in. XRP isn't just going to sit there. What's it going to do? Nothing. That's why when I hear people predicting only a small increase from the previous all-time high for XRP, I'm like, okay, if you're right, I'll give you credit. But honestly, I just don't see it playing out that way. Honestly, I will say this, I'm pretty skeptical. I mean, after all this time, nearly a decade of consolidation and the strongest fundamentals XRP has ever had, is that really all we can manage? A 2x? That's hard to believe. $6 or $7 would honestly be disappointing. I just don't see it playing out that way. I'd be surprised, to say the least. Of course, it all depends on the market as a whole and whether there's enough cash flowing in. Massive inflows into Bitcoin would be key, because if Bitcoin doesn't perform, then XRP likely won't either. That wouldn't shock me. But if the whole market takes off and you're telling me XRP just doesn't move with it, yeah, no, I'm not buying that for a second. Here's the latest from the blockchain backer. He shared a bunch of Bitcoin charts, and here's the gist. His best guess right now is that Bitcoin might eventually do some kind of back test. After that, he's expecting the euphoric parabola to kick in. The big question is how altcoins will react during that potential pullback. Will they keep running or pause for a moment? That part's still a bit of a mystery. In his recent video, he made sure to point out that this isn't a guarantee of a pullback, but with chart patterns like the one we're seeing now, it wouldn't be unusual for Bitcoin to drop back down to test the breakout level, which is somewhere around $112,000. So if that happens, don't freak out. He's just saying it's a possibility, not a promise. He's basically saying it's a possibility. So if it happens, don't freak out. Yes, XRP would likely dip along with the rest of the market. That's totally normal. But even then, it would still have the potential to break out to the upside. Now, if you're curious about all the details behind why he's confident Bitcoin is gearing up for one last parabolic run and why he believes XRP could hit $10, you should definitely check out his video. He's convinced this is by far the most likely scenario. And honestly, I keep seeing the same outlook from other analysts too. Here's a post from Credible Crypto that I've shared before. It's from July 7th, right before Bitcoin broke out. I'm sharing it again because there's an update. No need to read everything on the screen. I've gone into detail on this before, but here's the main point. On July 7th, he warned that it's illegal to short Bitcoin. Why? Because at that moment, the chart structure suggested there was a strong chance Bitcoin could start breaking out. He wasn't guaranteeing it, but based on how these formations typically play out, he believed it was very likely. And he was right. Bitcoin started running not long after. That's why he was so concerned about shorting it at that time. So he was like, you're playing with fire here. It really doesn't make sense to do that. Someone asked him about it, saying, hey, Sam, does that mean we're in scenario 1 for Bitcoin? Basically, they wanted to confirm if we're in the situation where Bitcoin is going up instead of down. Now, the other idea he was considering, scenario 2, was that Bitcoin might drop back down to test support at $102,000, hover around sideways for a bit, and then maybe make a big move upward in August. But no, he's saying it's not scenario 2. He's confident it's scenario 1. He added that the local invalidation for this idea would be if Bitcoin moves below $110,000. Otherwise, he's saying send it past the moon and straight to Mars. All good things take time, of course, but he seems to think this is the real deal. And now let's pivot and dive into XRP for the rest of this chat. How does that sound? Check out this post from Credible Crypto. He's talking about exactly that. He predicted XRP would shoot straight to $3. And guess what? He was spot on. The post came early in the morning around 1:17 a.m. Central Time, before XRP really started making its move later that day. It hit $2.97, which is close enough to call it $3, right? But here's the exciting part. He's still confident there's much more to come. He believes XRP will hit at least double digits, but realistically, he's eyeing a peak somewhere between $20, $30. Here's another update from Credible Crypto on the XRP/BTC chart. This is the latest version. He's been tracking every time XRP has pushed up against this trend line on the chart, only to fall back again. Each time it happens, he shares an update. Why is this worth watching? Well, as I've mentioned before, every time XRP tests that trend line and fails to break higher, it actually weakens the resistance. The more times this happens, the bigger the breakout will be when it finally pushes through. So far, XRP has failed 5 times, but when it finally breaks, get ready for a big move. XRP has been making impressive gains against Bitcoin, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. In my opinion, it's clear that XRP is outperforming Bitcoin, and the trend is only going to get more interesting as the cycle progresses. By the end of it, I believe we'll see just how much XRP outshines Bitcoin. It's going to be an exciting moment because honestly, I'm so over the negativity from some of those hardcore Bitcoin maximalists. For years, they've been shouting at us and celebrating when XRP was under attack by the US government, damaging our networks. I can't say I'm a big fan of that attitudes. So imagine how satisfying it would be to see XRP outperform Bitcoin, their so-called crypto gold. That would be something to celebrate, right? Let's make it happen. As someone pointed out, with Gandalf out of the way, nothing can stop the standard. Remember the classic scene from Lord of the Rings where Gandalf says, "You shall not pass"? Well, guess what? XRP has passed, nothing stopping the standard now. Here's an update from Mikey Bull Crypto. XRP is in its expansion phase with a rally that's been highly debated since it hit a new all-time high. And guess what? It's finally breaking above that trend line that so many analysts have been talking about for ages. Everyone said it's going to break, and here we are. Now, all those analysts are sharing their updated take saying, yep, it broke out. You love to see it, right? XRP's rally might be one of the most controversial in crypto, but it's definitely turning heads. Check out this update from chart analyst CW. XRP is making serious moves toward its all-time high. A breakout at this level could signal the start of a real rally for XRP. Exciting times, right? Honestly, I haven't come across any analyst who don't think XRP is set to perform well. If I did, I'd definitely share their takes just for fun. But so far, it's all bullish vibes. If any analyst actually believes that, they're probably too hesitant to say so publicly. You won't find them typing about it online or talking about it openly because over time, they're often proven wrong. And honestly, who wants to risk that? Every time someone doubts XRP, just give it some time and it proves them wrong. That's why you don't see many negative takes on it anymore. It consistently performed. If you happen to find one, let me know and I'll gladly highlight it. They're just super rare to come across these days. Check out this update from chart analyst Zoom. They're saying XRP is stepping into the battlefield right now. This was posted earlier today, and according to them, once XRP breaks through the $2.90 to $3 range, which is currently blocked by about 16 million in sell walls, we could see new all-time highs. Now, here's the interesting part. We did hit that range, but as expected, we bounced back because of those heavy sell walls. There's definitely a lot to work through at first, so it's no surprise we didn't make it on the first try. That's totally normal. It's not a bad thing at all. There'll be another chance, and next time there'll likely be fewer buyers since many of them have already sold. Then we push through. Eventually, we'll get there and hit those new all-time highs. We're not as far off as you might think. Check out this post from chart analyst A. Greg Crypto. He's highlighting what he calls a heavy supply zone for XRP, which is around the $3 mark. It's a similar idea to what chart analyst Zoom mentioned recently. Here's what A. Greg Crypto had to say. XRP is now in a heavy supply zone. The key focus is on where support will form. The higher the support, the better. The best case scenario, a strong push through the heavy supply zone that could launch us into the exciting Valhalla phase. That said, we should keep in mind a throwback could still happen, so it's important to keep a close eye on how XRP reacts next Monday. So far, we did see a bit of a rejection at that level, but it feels more like a short-term thing. XRP isn't going to stay stuck in this range forever. It's just getting started. Honestly, at this point, it feels pretty clear that it's ready to move forward. Check out this update from chart analyst Javon Marks. He called the jump in XRP from $0.62 to $2.47 a huge 5.1x move. And now things are getting even more exciting. Javon pointed out that breaking and holding above $2.47 would put $4.80 on the radar. And guess what? Prices have broken through and are holding strong above $2.47. That means we could see another 75% climb to $4.80 soon. This is what's called price discovery, where it's not just about hitting a new all-time high, but truly exploring what XRP is worth. And knowing Javon, he's confident it's going way beyond $4.80 in the future. Here's an update from Crypto Wizard XRP, and it's getting exciting. He's calling it again. $2.80 has been smashed. XRP is now up 34.82%, and there's just one final hurdle before hitting a new all-time high. Once $2.80 is out of the way for good, the real action begins. His target's $3.65 and then $4.50. He seems confident that's a key level to watch. Right now, XRP is hovering around $2.80, almost treating it as support. Maybe there's something to that, but let's not forget the big resistance earlier today was closer to $3, which seems pretty clear at this point. The optimism is strong, though, with XRP potentially heading into price discovery soon. Yet another respected analyst is saying it's only a matter of time. Here's another one from Crypto Wizard leading the way. He's definitely feeling confident, and for good reason. According to him, XRP dominance is making waves, climbing by an impressive 15.99% since he called for a breakout, something that could climb even higher. Just to clarify, he's not saying XRP dominance is at 15.99%. Instead, that's the increase in dominance, which as of 3:26 p.m. Central Time, put XRP dominance at 4.57%. That's a solid jump from the usual 4% range and sometimes even lower. It's great progress, especially considering XRP hasn't even broken the $3 mark yet. But hey, just wait. I wouldn't be surprised if XRP's dominance edges closer to 15%. Now, just imagine that a 15% dominance, but with the entire crypto market cap being double what it is today. That would send XRP's price through the roof. That's how you reach the $15, $20 range. I'm not making a prediction here, but if that scenario plays out, that's what it would mean. It's just simple math, really. Here's an update from chart analyst Tony Severino on XRP/USD. He points out that XRP moving above the weekly upper Bollinger Band signals potential continuation, meaning this could keep going strong. The Bollinger Bands are tight again, which usually means a breakout is coming, and it looks like it's already started. Remember, back in November 2024, we didn't know exactly when the breakout would happen, but the Bollinger Bands were the tightest they'd ever been. And we knew a big move was on the way. It's the same story now. The bands tightened up again, so it was only a matter of time before something happened. And here we are seeing XRP climb possibly to $3. Here's an update from chart analyst XRP. He mentioned that $2.70 to $2.90 was the key zone to watch. And now that XRP touched $2.97 and pulled back from the .78065 at $2.90. It looks like we're taking a breather. This means we could see a retest of lower support levels before gearing up for the next move higher. Exciting times ahead. And let me tell you, this is completely normal. Don't worry about the pullback. It's all part of the process. Continuation is still on the horizon. Honestly, it just seems so obvious. Check out this update from Crypto Insight UK. Looks like the XRP $3 sell wall is holding strong, and honestly, that tracks. There's some serious volume coming in though, so it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes to break through $3. This could give us a glimpse into just how strong the move really is. I don't have a crystal ball to say exactly when it'll happen, but one thing's for sure, it's going to happen. Here's a post from chart analyst CryptoV talking about XRP. He's saying, don't let them shake you out on the next pullback, $8 plus inbound. He even shared a fractal from a previous cycle, which looks like it might be from 2017. CryptoV has been pretty consistent with his prediction, XRP to $8 plus. And honestly, a lot of people might see that as a conservative target. To be clear, he's not suggesting it would stop at $8. He did say $8 plus, but if $8 where it peaks, then fair enough. If he's right, and credit where credit's due. Still, for me, $8.00 feels a bit on the conservative side. Who knows what's going to happen, but that's just how it strikes me. Here's an interesting post from chart analyst Bark at Bark Meta. According to him, XRP has been price suppressed for months, but it's about to slingshot to $10 and fast. This is definitely something to keep an eye on. Have you noticed how many analysts with solid track records are saying similar things lately? That's pretty unusual. The reason? It seems like we're in one of those rare moments where history suggests something big is about to happen. So buckle up. XRP's price action could be about to deliver some serious fireworks. Check out this update from chart analyst Dom. XRP's recent pump seems to be driven mostly by Koreans on Upbit. Dom shared this around 9 a.m. today, pointing out that Binance's market is trailing behind other exchanges and is pretty much flat compared to Coinbase. Over the last hour alone, nearly 30 million XRP has been bought across top exchanges. That's wild. Now, here's the really interesting part, though not completely surprising. South Korea has been crazy about XRP for years. First learned about XRP and got involved in November 2017. But even before that, South Koreans were all over it. For some reason, they've always had a serious love for XRP. And the trading volume they put in is no joke. Sometimes it even outpaces the volume of Bitcoin and Ethereum purchases in the country. This is totally normal, though I have no idea why. And I'm not complaining. I just genuinely don't know. And it seems like nobody knows for sure. Some people have shared different theories, but I haven't come across anything convincing yet. If you have a good idea, feel free to share it in the comments below. What I can say for sure is that XRP has some seriously big fans, and they definitely played a major role in driving the price today. That's absolutely true. Check out this update from chart analyst X-Force Global. XRP's trading volume is now officially higher than Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. Korean retail investors are stepping up in a big way as of 10:02 a.m. this morning. They're fired up, they're wanting more, and they're making a comeback. Quick side note, this isn't even close to the volume we saw back in December. This is just the beginning. Think about it. Volume isn't anywhere near December levels, and we're already pushing close to $3. Wow, I absolutely love this. This is the new normal for XRP holders. XRP sitting above $2 feels right. And now, as the market starts heating up, it's becoming normal to see it closer to $3. Even without crazy trading volume, it's wild, but I'm here for it. Honestly, it's taken me a few months to get used to this. And while it's a big shift, I think I'm settling into it now. I mean, for most of the last 7.5 years, I've been holding XRP. This wasn't the reality. So yeah, it feels different, but in the best way. You just love to see it. So hang in there, folks, because the best is yet to come. Just a friendly reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say. Always do your own research.